Hello, my name is Melinda. This is episode 2 of my knitting podcast. Welcome, whether this is your first time or second time, since this is podcast number 2, I'm happy that you're here. I wanted to start off by just saying thank you to everybody who has watched my first episode. I honestly am blown away by the number of people that have viewed it. I didn't know if it would just reach as far as my mom and my sisters and my husband, who I directly sent the link to. So pretty exciting that other people have watched it in some capacity. So thank you for that, and thanks if you're returning, or welcome if you're new. What we have on the docket today, like I had in my last episode, regular order of events for knitting podcasts. I do have one finished object to share, progress on one of my whips, a couple new cast-ons, and then a couple special little things at the end. I'll explain those when we get there. Awesome. Sip of coffee. This is an Ember Mug. I don't know if everyone's heard of them, but they're basically mugs. It has a little coaster, but then also is battery powered, where it'll keep your coffee warm. So it's pretty awesome for me as a mom who gets very distracted super easily, that I don't have to reheat my coffee 12 times a day. So thank you to my mother for this wonderful Christmas gift from last year. Perfect. Before finished objects, I'll talk about what I'm wearing. This is just long hair. This is just a self-draft little tank pattern, high neckline on the front, 2x2 ribbing. This was DK weight yarn, maybe worsted, from Knit Crate. And then, yes, I don't have a pattern. I don't remember exactly what the yarn was. Maybe you've seen it before, but it's like a purple and white marled, but it's more of a chain knit construction, so not marled yarn, deep purple. It kind of looks darker than that, but pretty comfy tank, nothing too exciting. I-cord edging, I-cord neckline, and then I have on the back, this is gonna be hard to show, it is like that on the back. So I suppose if I wanted to, I could flip it around and have the v-neck, but I like the higher neckline on the front. I've actually made a few different versions of this as gifts, but this is the one that I have for myself. Alright, now that I've gotten that out of the way, I might put on something that doesn't make me feel so bare on the top. Pause. Alright, we're back, and we feel better about being on camera in a t-shirt. Okay, so next up, finished object. I have my cotton candy tea. Oh my gosh, got blocked, I guess, a couple days ago now. So it smells really yummy. I use this soak wool wash where you just leave it and then you don't have to like rinse it or wash it out or anything. Last episode, I was just like maybe an inch past one of the increases or so on the yoke, and now she's done. So this is the Cotton Candy Tea by Callie from Kneedles in Life. I knit the 6 to 12 month size using Karen cotton cakes. It is just craft store 60/40 cotton acrylic yarn, weight 4, in the color, oh, I had a hard time finding it. Here we go, Silver Cloud, that's what color it is. So just a very, very sweet little top for a little lady. Increases a few along the yoke, and then it has these little ruffled sleeves with I-cord edging both on the sleeves and then also at the ruffle on the bottom. It's children's size pattern, super easy to follow, pretty basic knit. And then Callie included a link out to an I-cord bind off, if that's probably the most difficult thing in the pattern. And it was really awesome, and it actually was a jogless one, which I'm not even going to be able to find where the end was. Let me look for my actual end. But yes, it had instructions for a jogless I-cord, which I never have actually done before. And it's like right here and you can't even tell. Oh, it's like magic. So super cute, very sweet for a little lady. Awesome gift knit and knit up so quick on weight 4 yarn, worsted weight cotton yarn. So very easy, very cute. When I was trying to take some finished object photos, just the flat lay of it laying on my coffee table, my little one kept reaching into the frame to pull it off the table, and then I'd put her on the other side of the room and come back, try to snap a pic, and she'd scurry over and grab it again. So there is a pretty funny video. I can pop it in here, but I made it into a little reel on my Instagram if you want to check that out. But very funny, sweet little thing. So she obviously wanted to put it on then and there. So yes, cotton candy tee, my finished object for the week from Callie of Needles and Life. All right, this here. Next up is another whip that you've seen before. It's so nice that I don't have to worry about my coffee getting cold, but I still want to drink it nonetheless. Okay, next up, this is a whip I've made some progress on since last time. This is the Notable Allie's sweater by S Knits, Sarah Opie. I had just finished the body as of last time and then started one of the sleeves, and I have finished it. Hooray! So the sleeve detail is really cool. It has 1.5 more of the motifs at the bottom, and then contrasting color cuff with the main color bind off, tubular bind off to finish out the sleeve. Obviously haven't woven in my ends, which I don't need to because it's not done yet. Perfect. And then so I know a lot of people use like the little light bulb stitch markers or locking stitch markers to count their sleeve increases and decreases, but that's like one of my least favorite parts is when you finish a sweater, then you have to sit there and unclip the like 12 to 15 tiny stitch markers off of your sweater. So I stole something from crochet, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but I decided to do a running stitch marker, kind of like what you do in crochet. I don't know if you've ever used that to count your rounds rather than having to lock and remove the locking stitch marker up. But basically, I just used some extra of my contrasting color yarn and ran it up. Oh, this is gonna be so hard to see. I'm gonna have to like stretch it. Beep. Oh bother, this is poor. Okay, you can see the little, there we go. You can see the little white flecks going through. So I actually use that as my stitch marker, and so now I'll be able to just like pluck it out, pull it through, and it didn't mess with the gauge or anything along those parts, but I essentially just like stuck it out on the one side, so I just had to worry about counting up from the last spot that I had done my decrease, and then flipped it back in and back out for the next one so that my decrease row would be marked with that running stitch marker. So kind of fun if that's something you'd want to try if you're also not a fan of undoing a million tiny little light bulb stitch markers. That's something you can do. Hooray, Allie's sweater, one sleeve down, one to go, and then she's done. Da-da-da. Alrighty, let's do this one next. So I had a half-finished object that's been languishing for probably like, it's been like 5 months, I would say, where this sock has not found a friend. This is Madeline Tosh. It's actually Tosh sock, which is a little bit of a bummer. I didn't realize that until I just went back to find the yarn label for this. So that's 100% superwash merino. Not ideal for socks because it doesn't have the nylon content. So I don't know how these will hold up, but oh well. If they do get holes in them, get worn through, then I can always darn them, which is kind of sad going into a fresh pair of knitted socks, but oh well. Let's see. 60 stitches. I did a heel flap and gusset, and then just a basic like wedge toe. You can see that. The colorway of this yarn, speaking of the label, is Dried But Not Forgotten. Like I said, Madeline Tosh, Tosh sock. And so I had finished this one a long time ago and then decided that I wanted to have something to keep in the car for car knitting so that I don't have to just bring whatever whip I have on hand, but keep it in there, which I actually have a sock project in my car, but it's one I'm not super excited about, so I never touch it when I'm in there. But anyway, so I figured I would finish this one. You can see the colorway a little bit better here. The base color is like a nice green, and then it has a lot of blue flecks and then some of those like bright yellow flecks. So I have this much accomplished so far. I use a cast on method where I just do long tail cast on over both needles and then pull the one out, obviously, then knit on magic loop in the round. ChiaoGoo red lace, US 1, 2.25 millimeters. Nothing too exciting, basically just a vanilla sock, heel flap, and gusset. I have figured out my formula where I do 20 rounds for the ribbed cuff and then 40 rounds. Yes, I think it's 40 rounds until the heel flap and gusset, 60 rounds for the foot, and then decrease down for the toe. So that's what this one will be as well. And as I'm looking at this, I realized that I started 1x1 ribbing, but this is 2x2. So I will have to rip out and start again. And that is why you don't fall into the second sock syndrome camp where you start doing your sock wrong. Bummer. Okay, that's fine. We'll tend to that later. New-ish whip, revived Languishing whip. Here. Great. Okay, then the last whip, this is my new Caston that I am so excited about. So last week I had shown the new yarn that I had gotten the worsted weight from Blackberry Ridge Fiber Mill via Sunset Yarns, the new yarn shop that I found, but new yarn shop that I went to. And I had to cast something on with that right away, obviously. And so it is right here. I'm working on a new design with this yarn and I am loving it so far. So much so that I am almost done with the body. Yep. Already on to the hem. So this is going to be just a raglan sweater, another boxy fit like I like. Thicker raglan. There are 3 stitches for the raglan. We'll say raglan 16,000 times. I need to plug in my computer. Okay, you got some juice now. Awesome. Okay, so raglan, raglan, raglan. Say it a few more times to bring us back. 3 stitch raglan, and then it has a 1x1 corrugated ribbing, that's right. In the darker brown color, and the light gray is the main body cast on with the dark brown. Go into the 1x1, into the raglan. There are some German short rows. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It's looking so good. Exactly how I imagined. And then the body is just straight down in the gray, and then there's gonna be the 1x1 going at the bottom for the hem as well. I'm starting off with just doing stockinette 1x1 color work here to see how that works out. I feel like with the 1x1 it will help to not roll as much, even though it's just stockinette, because I like the way that that look with a little more even, because as you can see with the corrugated ribbing, The pearls definitely are a little bit thicker, just the way that the structure of the stitch is. They pop out a bit, which I think is cool for the neckline, but I want it to be a little more simple for the bottom because this is the most exciting part. Maybe not, I don't know. It's going to have two little pockets here with the same detailing at the top of the pockets. And so this is what I used for my gauge swatch, or at least to get an idea of my gauge. Obviously, I did not swatch in the round, even though I'm knitting in the round, but just to get an idea of kind of how many stitches I wanted. So yes, there will be two little pockets right here on the front. And then the plan is to do some wider sleeves with ribbing at the bottom again with, or maybe just the 1 by 1. We'll see how this works out at the bottom or at the hem. And the same idea will be at the base of the sleeves for the cuffs. And I think it's going to be a wider sleeve just to kind of have that big cozy feeling. Oh, I'm so excited about this. I think it's turning out really well, pretty much exactly as I had envisioned. Inspiration for this one came from, I don't know if anyone has like those just really basic single layer fleece blankets, but they have the little like black stitching or whatever contrasting color stitching on the outside. I drew inspiration from that because we have the Caston and just the single color, and then the 2-color color work to get those lines going across, and then the main basically all the same color otherwise, kind of like those blankets. So hooray, new design in the works. This is just flying off the needles. Worsted weight yarn, so satisfying. And yes, just excitement also driving this knit to be completed even faster. Wow, okay, cool. If anyone has any name ideas, those are welcome in the comments. I don't have a name for this one yet, but yes, if you have thoughts, please share. I'm gonna put this back over here because the yarn balls are attached. Hooray! Okay, so yes, whips, works in progress, new cast on, covered everything here. So I don't have any exciting new yarn this week to show you, but I figured instead I have an abundance of stash that I do kind of want to work through. So I thought this is yarn that you haven't seen me show yet, and so I would just, if I don't have any new acquisitions, pick something out from my stash that I would like to cast on and see if you have any ideas, whether that be a new design that I can work on or pattern ideas that would work with the yarn that I'm going to show. So let me grab that. Not an acquisition, but something from stash that I want to use. This is from Knit Crate. I had subscribed, there's a hair twisted into the skein. I had subscribed to Knit Crate for a little while, and then I discovered that I just wanted to knit garments, mostly sweaters, and so Knit Crate is, I guess for those of you that don't know, it's a subscription service where you get 2 skeins of mystery yarn and a couple bonus items. They do have patterns that come with it, but not always super jazzed about the patterns, and I don't even think that I have the paper that came with this. It was over a year ago, probably a year and a half, that I received this Knit Crate. So, but yes, monthly subscription. You would get 2 skeins of yarn. There's also like a sock option if you are a sock knitter, but you don't pick what you get. It's just random, or a surprise, not random. Surprise that for what colorway and everything that you'll receive in the different types of yarn. So I went into the archives to figure out what this was, and I wrote it down, but now it's hiding behind my computer. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. Okay, I found that this is the Vitalana Lofty DK. I don't know what the colorway is, but it's just like a super soft white. Let's see. Oh, nice. It's kind of like a creamy white with some of the gray tonality, little interest there. So I'm not sure. It's a chain knit construction. There are Oh no, I don't have it. I want to say it was 200. Yes, it was 274 yards. Sorry, I'm rambling, stumbling through this whole thing. But 274 yards per skein. So 2 skeins, that's like 550 yards of DK weight. So I think I could get some kind of tee, definitely a tank top or different summer garment. But of course I want to use up as much of this as I can. So if you all have any ideas on something to knit, whether that be a pattern or looking into some kind of design that you would like, I'm not sure, just let me know. Comment below with any ideas or thoughts that you have here, and I would love to take that into account as I decide what to do with this. So yes, from the archives, from the stash, old knit crate yarn that I have yet to use, Vitalana Lofty DK chain knit construction, 500 plus yards, and me not knowing what to do with it. So that's what we have here. I'd already caked this up and cast on like 6 different things at different times, so I think it's about time to get this out of stash, don't you? Perfect. Okay. Beautiful. So to wrap this up, I do have another bonus video. Not 100% sure if it will come out before or after this podcast episode is posted, but it is a deep dive on my Francis pullover, which is the new design that I am publishing. So exciting. It should be out within the next week or so. So awesome. So excited. I'm very excited, as I said like 12 times in the last 30 seconds. But yes, if you want to take a look at that video to learn more, there's also a special coupon code there if you want to purchase that pattern on Ravelry. The coupon code will last until a certain date, and so that will be included in that other video, so pop over there if you want to take a peek at that. I appreciate anyone who considers supporting and casting that sweater on. It'll be perfect timing to get that on your needles and have it finished in time for fall coziness to roll around. Let's see, what else? Other news. I don't think I have really anything other than that. Something that's been bringing me joy lately is I went to Costco last week and picked up a bunch of peaches because my little baby is pretty obsessed with those at the moment, and so I picked up a ton of them, but they were not great, and so I was like, might as well just bake with them to get rid of some of these because they just like were a little bit bland, but nothing that a ton of sugar in a baked good couldn't cover up. So I made this peach cobbler, and I realized after I baked it that I don't think I've ever actually had peach cobbler, but it was so yummy. I can link the recipe down below if anyone is interested, but that was very tasty, and I actually made it again a couple days ago. It's already gone. The first time it only lasted a day between my husband, myself, and some of his friends that had come over that evening, so it was gone within 5 hours actually. But if anyone likes baking, then I would definitely recommend that recipe. So joy in food is something that I definitely find quite often. If there's something else in your life that's been bringing you joy, let me know below. I'd love to hear about it. But I pray that you do find something and enjoy your knitting or whatever else you are spending your time with these days. I wish you all well, and that's all. All right, bye everybody.